What's going on, everybody?
This is how you get on stage.
Yeah, it is. It is Brennan Tassif here for another edition of Brennan Tassif is Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. So the format of the show, if you're not used to the show or haven't been listening for a while, my name is Brennan Tassif. I'm a comic based out of Jacksonville, and normally I will have a guest on, and we'll talk drinking stories, we'll talk party stories, getting arrested stories, things like that. Or sometimes I will just be by myself and be talking to myself like I used to do when I was drunk all the time. You've already heard my guest today. He's a very funny comedian out of Jacksonville, Florida, Mr. Stephen Baker. What's going on, man?
Oh yeah. That's all stuff I am. You know.
So like everything up front, Instagram, Twitter, any shows you got coming up, the whole deal.
On Instagram, I'm off-brand sparkling wine poppy. Which I guess now that Drake's definitely a pedophile, it should change.
Yeah.
And then
When did that happen? He's a pedophile now?
I mean, it's just like more stuff keeps. It's like,
really?
dude, he's just trying to fuck teenagers all the time.
Is that true?
Yeah, man. There's like a video of him on stage, and he's like, he finds out a girl's 17, and he's like, oh man. I'd still probably, and like it's really bad, and it just keeps like, it's like, you know, when it's like the first one happens and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
you slid in a DM and you were and then it's like 12 more and it's like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, well, it just keeps looking more not good
Because
you know?
his handle is Champagne Poppy.
Yeah, that's
And
why
yours
it's
is off-brand sparkling wine.
Off-brand champagne poppy was taken, but I was
really?
like, I'm still gonna use it because I'm a hack.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Because I'm a hack.
Yeah, and then on Twitter it's Mitski Hustle, and neither Mitski nor Nipsey Hussle have had any, you know, scandals other than one of them being dead.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. No
yeah.
scandals coming out of that.
Yeah.
I forgot how into music you are.
I mean, you know, some stuff, you know.
No, not something.
No, like a lot of different, especially this year because I'm just hanging out with Trevor, our hipster friend, and he just keeps showing me more stuff, and I'm like, all right, I'll listen to that for a minute. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Because I remember when we went to that show in Melbourne, we drove down there together.
Yeah.
And I was playing like Eminem or something. You're like, yeah, that's okay, but listen to this.
I think I played a couple things. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I had never even heard of. But I mean, at first glance, if people saw you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a lot of stuff, you know? So it's like I'll not pay attention for 5 years and I'm like, what's an NLE Choppa? And then he's great. I love him.
I don't even know.
No,
yeah,
he yells every song. It's amazing.
There you go. Oh my God. What? I kind of cut you off. Do you have any? You have shows coming up?
I
You got
got
a show
one
in
is it's at Ace Arena in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
You know?
that one's in Mandarin. That's the show that
Yeah.
I just did this past Saturday.
December 12th. And it's going to be maybe the only show I do between now and then.
Really?
Yeah, unless I go to an open mic. Which
Are you
I don't
doing
know.
any? Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Are you doing any of the open mics?
I mean, sometimes, you know, it's like, it's weird because it's like, I want to book a good thing so that it's worth it if I catch COVID, you know?
Yeah.
Because
No,
it's like,
that makes sense.
I don't want to like, you know, do like one of the trash mics where you're like, yeah, this is like, that was literally just like, I'm not doing anything right now on a Tuesday, so I'll go to this mic. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of the mics around, you know?
All of the mics, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it's like I don't want to talk shit about anyone specifically, but I will.
You
know?
sure you don't want to? I was gonna say.
I absolutely will.
We
but,
that was a mistake.
What's the one at the vape bar, and then the
That
one
I
at
did that
the-
one last week. That one wasn't
yeah?
too bad.
That one wasn't too well. I mean, it's hit or miss.
I
like,
brought Crespo.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 people there.
Yeah.
4 of them were people who were going to perform.
I've also I've had a good time at bad you have
yeah.
a good time at bad mics all the time. It's
Tiernanog
just like,
is known for that.
yeah, but it's like you also have nights where you bomb and then no one's sharing weed on the back patio, and it's like, why did I even come?
Yeah.
You know?
We yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I was like, all right, I've got a Wednesday off. I'm going to do some fucking comedy. Like,
Yeah.
I need to do something. So I went there, and it
So
was
the night where nobody was there.
yeah.
until,
I told you
yeah.
about this. Yeah. But I'll tell the listeners.
Yeah.
So I showed up, and it was empty. And I was like, well, fuck this. I'll just drive down to Daytona and do the mic there. And I was early to the first open mic, and then I got to Daytona a little early, and no one was there. And I was like, well, screw it. I'll just turn around and go home, I guess, which is like an hour and a half drive. And I was like, well, I literally have been out of my house for 5 hours and did 0 times doing stand-up. And then I went the next week, and I brought Crespo. And it was fun because I was just like, all right, because I knew I had that show coming up at Ace. So I was like, I need to do some material like to get it out. And the last show I had done was Veterans, which was like a month before.
Yeah.
And I fucking walk in there. I was telling the guy who hosts it, like, yeah, I came last week. I didn't see anybody, so I left. He goes, oh, man, you should have came inside. And I was like, why? He's like, there was 40-something people in here. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, it was almost like standing room only. It was insane. It was the best show we've ever had here.
Yeah,
that's like, you motherfucker.
And that's that show. It's gonna, and that's also like the one where it's like, no, that's the best comedy show, and the worst thing to have happen right now is like just a bunch of people packed in a small room.
Well, that's what
where we're sharing breathing instruments, and that's why we're here. Like,
yeah, well, and they don't
There's
no like precaution or anything. Like I was kind of nervous because I was like. Oh, well, I mean, like, at least at a lot of the shows, like the big shows, like the show Brian's Yola runs at Hyperion and the show that you're going to do at Ace, because I just did it.
They're like spread out,
Yeah, everyone's spread out. They're wiping down the mics. Like, everything's good.
Yeah,
like,
the veterans one is funny because they're all like, no, yeah, we're at half capacity. But then you get there and it's like, no, half capacity is for both rooms and one of them is always completely empty.
Yeah.
So they're at whole capacity.
Yeah, in the one room, yeah. Well, and especially at veterans because it's very much, you're going to get a lot of people who are like, this is a fucking hoax, man. The hell are you talking about?
I don't even know if that's a hoax room, but it's definitely I could take it room,
Yeah, oh, for sure.
It's definitely man, I'm afraid of no disease that's killed like 200,000 people or whatever.
Yeah, they give zero fucks there. But that's what you got coming
Yeah, but
up?
it's like a vape bar is like the one thing that absolutely we're just gonna show up to a place and breathe in stuff with other people. Like it's the whole point is to like it's like a pen that you breathe in and out of.
Well, and they're
and
like
you
oxygen
share it
bar.
with friends.
Yeah, they got like shit there that you and it's like I didn't even
It's
think
the one
about
thing that should close, and I guarantee not a single one did.
He said the host was like, yeah, we haven't stopped doing comedy. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, we haven't stopped.
They're like, yeah, we don't have 5G. Why would we?
I don't know. It's weird. I've talked to Dallas about this. I've talked to pretty much every guest about this, but it's weird when people like first get into comedy and they're like, because you've been doing comedy for how long now?
4 years, about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 22? 23.
23.
Okay. Oh, so you were just a baby when you started.
Yeah, you're still just a baby.
I know.
I'm trying to keep that image up because people like it.
But what is your feeling? And then I promise everybody we're going to get to the drinking and the party stories. But it's interesting to have someone in here who's because most of my guests, I mean, other than you in Dallas, everyone else has been like doing comedy for like a pretty long, like Brian and Marcus and me on and off and. So what is your take when you see people, and if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to, but I'd really encourage you to do so we could talk some shit. What is your take when you see people who like kind of want to start comedy? And
Dallas Nelson is the worst person. No, I'm kidding. He's my roommate and I love him, but if we're going to just start talking shit, whatever.
We're going to talk shit. No,
but he leaves the seat up. And I do the Larry David thing where I sit down at the nighttime because I don't want to turn the light on. And
that's smart. So sometimes you sit down and you get your little tissue wet.
Yeah. I think that's exactly how he says it at one point. Yeah. So what is the?
No, I'm sorry. I got distracted.
No, I intentionally derailed it immediately.
No, I was gonna say, what is your take when you see like people come in? Because when I first came back, you and I, it's really weird because we'll be in like situations where we're all standing around and you're not very much like, and I don't mean this as an insult, but you're not going to go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm Stephen Baker. Like, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah. I don't take that as an insult. I'm like, I am a human being.
You do that thing where you'll kind of like stand in the circle with everybody. And then you'll like, if somebody says something, whether you know them or not, you'll make like you like do funny commentary or make a joke about something or something like that.
Wait, do you mean like roasting that like a person that's near us to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like not only that, but like sometimes we'll be standing around and some like I'll say something to Buck and then like a new person will like try to chime in to like be a part of the group. And then you always like kind of be like, yeah, or like you'll like kind of and almost not encourage them, but kind of keep going with them.
Oh,
do you hate like new people in comedy, or are you indifferent, or you just don't care?
I mean, it's people, So it's like it's like the experience with comedy. Like it's weird because like everybody, like if you come in with an ego, and you don't know, like if you're not good and you don't know it, you're going to be automatically annoying just because you're at a comedy place and you think you're good at comedy and you're not.
Yeah.
So it's like you have like there's like a tendency to have like a weird trait that makes you annoying to people that are doing it and that are in like the process. But it's like, as long as it's not like, if we're just talking about like, if somebody just brings up like a book or whatever, then it's like, oh, we're not talking about comedy anymore. Like, I'm not, it's not like, so it's like just in a conversation, it's like a different thing. So like, probably, they're probably annoying more of the time than they would be, just because a lot of people like the tendency for people is to come into things with a bit of an ego. Like you have the Dunning-Kruger shit or whatever it is, so it's like people can come across a little obnoxious more often than they would be not that way, but it's like, it's not across the board,
Yeah. Well, the main reason I ask is because like I've had guests in here, and other than Dallas, who's very encouraging with people, and he even said on the podcast, like, I think everybody should try comedy. And I was like, don't put that out in the universe. But
I was like, dude, we're just getting rid of a lot of them. Come on, man.
But for the most part, the general consensus is kind of like what you're saying. Like, if you come in and you're going to do the work, like, then it's fine. But
I mean, it's weird because it's like people all just treat it differently. So some people are like, we're at a bar, and then in 20 minutes we're gonna be doing comedy, and then some people are showing up like it's class or something, where like they got like notes or whatever, and we're already working on, and it's like you're supposed to have this attitude about it. So it's like just by like hanging out at the bar like a regular human being, there's people that get annoyed by that because they're like, he's gonna go up, but he's not acting like he's not, and it's like. And it's just a weird, like, different people approaching something differently. And it's like, I'm sure there were times when I got annoyed by it when I shouldn't have, but it's like, nowadays it's like, until we I'll get surprised now that I am annoyed by somebody. Because like we lock into a conversation about comedy, and they'll just be like weird and new and ego-y and like all that stuff, and I'll be like, oh man, damn it, I didn't even know I hated you, and and I do, and then and then I'll meet a guy that's like just hanging out at the bar that's way worse at the ego guy at comedy, but we're not talking about it at all. So it's like, no, we're talking about a different thing, and I like that guy fine, so it's like, it's all context stuff that messes with it, Well,
it's weird that you bring that up, because I never thought about it in that aspect of it's just different people approaching something differently. Because we've talked about like, how some people, because you don't treat it as a hobby, you treat it like work.
If you showed up to do karaoke and you were like having fun, drinking a beer, and you're getting ready to sing your dumb little song and have your friends laugh at you, and it's a good time, and then somebody's in the corner like, this guy's not paying attention to any of this shit. He's gonna drop so many of his fucking like they're just treating it like, it's like, no, you go to the bar and you say some dumb shit, maybe some people laugh, It's like they're just treating it different, and it's like, that's fine. It's like in situations where it steps on like our thing or someone's thing where they're actually trying, So it's like if you like derail a show in some way, or like you walk a crowd, it's like that's bad. But also we as a community of people trying to run a show or trying to make it that thing let you. So why did we let you? So it's like,
because you do take it seriously.
I want to.
Yeah, because you almost have this demeanor where if people don't like know you, they just because like I said, you're kind of like, you're not overly like you don't have that ego. You don't go up and talk to people. Like,
I mean, I'm like a more observant than any. Like I tend like
observant,
not necessarily like. Not always in a potentially creepy way. I watch people more than I talk to them. In a way that I have to work to keep from being in a creepy way.
I watch people more than I talk to them.
Let's cut this part. Drop an edit point.
I'm actually gonna mark that. No. That'll probably be the clip. I watch people more than
perfect. That's
but you're a young buck, 23 years old. You've got your.
I am a young buck. I lived with him for a year.
You've got your fair share of getting in trouble, kind of partying stories.
I don't know. Some of them, I haven't been arrested. That's weird.
No,
I don't know why.
Haven't.
Yeah,
well,
I've done a lot of stuff I should have been for, probably.
Well, I know on stage you used to have and since I haven't seen you in so long because we're only doing shows like once every 3 months, but you used to have bits about riding the bus and just like the characters that you
Yeah.
see on a bus. And
But it's like public intoxication is legal when you're on a bus.
Yeah.
So like those ones don't count. But there's other that, you know. So
well, it was just funny to me because when obviously the audience knows about all my DUIs and everything.
Yeah.
So like I took the bus all the time, and when you first started doing that material, I was like, dude. It's
man.
totally like that.
It's
like,
so weird. Like, what was the? There was a. This is the. I didn't even write this one down to talk about because I was stone sober for it, and not everyone involved was. So I probably should have written it down. But I was riding a bus. It was on the north side, and the bus driver was like he was just being weird. Like he had weird like body language stuff going on, and it was me, a guy, two people like 2 rows up from me. And then probably like 10 more rows, and then the bus driver, and then he's doing weird, like it seemed like he was trying to keep himself awake, which is
God.
disconcerting, and you don't want it to be that, but he's going like and then he's like hitting his hands on the wheel, and like like stuff where you're like,
oh, this is
like,
not safe.
I gotta get home tonight. Keep me up, like just hitting the like hitting the wheel really hard. And it just felt. I was like, all right, here we go. Let's see
how this adventure
this
plays.
is gonna be So then eventually, I found out this is just how this works. But he just stopped the car to take his lunch, like the bus. He stopped the bus to take his lunch.
I remember you did tell me about
which
this
apparently
story.
I've like checked around more about it, and that's just what they do.
That happens all the time.
They just stop the bus at some point and they get some food.
Yeah.
And then so this was that. I didn't know what that was though. So he just stops the bus and he gets out, and then he goes into a Burger King and he gets some stuff, and then and then on his way back he's passing a dude on the sidewalk, and he just obviously handshakes something to and from the dude. And it's like it just happened right in front of me, and this like just watched it happen. And then he gets back on the bus and keeps driving for a minute, and it's like, all right, well I guess he wasn't trying to keep himself up. Like I know, I understand what happened now, but then he kept.
He's trying to stay awake.
Yeah, but then he kept trying to sell it to us, where he's got the Burger King bag and shit, and it's like there's other stuff in that bag, and and we both know, and we're both obviously cool with it. We're like, well, it's the smooth ride and all, and we're in a big old bus, so it's like it's not.
We just want to get where we're going.
It's like, look, man, it's keeping you doing your job right, and I'm fine with it, and I don't care, and I do my stuff, and I'm sure you would be disconcerted to be in the room with it, but it's not affecting you, and your stuff isn't affecting me, so it's all okay.
It's not affecting me. You're on the bus.
Yeah.
He's driving the bus.
Yeah, but he's doing good, Like, I feel like if you hit somebody with the bus, I'm pretty sure they fire you. Like, they have to. If you hit somebody, then you're now less qualified than someone with no qualifications that didn't hit somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like they could just replace you for sure. So I'm sure this dude hasn't hit anybody.
I'm positive.
Because of that logic that I just made up out of thin air.
I mean, it's good logic. It makes sense. It tracks.
Yeah. So but it's like we're clearly fine with it. We're just riding back to Rosa Parks Station, just trying to get home. And then he keeps trying yelling stuff that's obviously just trying to sell us on the fact that he just got fast food. he's like, man, shit's not like in the commercials. like those fries, you get them and they're soggy. False advertising. It's like, dude,
while he's heating up his crack rock.
He's like, it's working this weird, I definitely didn't just buy drugs type 5 in front of me. And I'm like, I don't, sure, yep. It's literally to me and one other person. Like he's yelling.
Because there's only the two.
Yeah, he's yelling across half of a bus just to me.
He said
and
there's
another
like
person.
12 rows in between.
Yeah. There's nobody there but me, and he's just yelling to us, and it was a good time. We traded Instagram handles. He's a nice guy.
Oh man. So do you find yourself in those situations a lot? Like
I did when I rode the bus.
'Cause, yeah, you're driving now.
I don't know.
Do you ever I know you talk about this on stage, so I don't know if you want to step on it, but is that a true story about the skateboard?
Which
this is my only mode of transportation.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So there, for a while when you didn't have a car, you were skating around, and then
pretty
you would
much
go hook up with.
Well, I mean, it would
chicks.
be like combination skating, bus, and then stuff like that. Yeah, for a little while.
But you literally would go to chicks' houses, and they were like,
yeah, on a skateboard, and they would be like, "I guess it should just be like in porn," and then we would fuck, and then and.
That's one of my favorite jokes that you have, where you're like, no.
It's truly terrible. I mean, it's like...
Is that like a hobby?
Yeah. It's not even like the worst things I've discovered about humanity from just sex in general, but it's still pretty bad. You know that
Yeah.
you could just do nothing and get laid.
It's so. I remember I used to think it was so hard, and then I got to college, where everyone's just kind of like, in that age range where everyone's kind of young. Because I'm too old for that kind of shit now. But when I got to school and everyone was just kind of like, yeah, this is just what we do. Like, and you're like, wait, so I don't like what?
It's literally like, it's so dumb because it's like, it's so obvious, but at the same time, it's so missed by everybody that it's just the scene from Big Mouth where where she's like, girls get horny too. And he's like, his head just literally explodes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so dumb that it's so obvious even that's the case, and it's just never put together until you realize it all at once, and it feels like a conspiracy theory. It's so dumb. Like, you're putting it together in your room, and like there's like a
wait a second.
There's like a big poster board with like with like strings thumbtacked and shit. And you're like, yeah, man. And Charles Manson worked for the CIA, and girls get fucking horny. and both of those are true probably, but.
I gotta mark that, man. We got a lot of stuff we might have to clip for this episode.
Yeah,
this is fun.
Yeah, man.
What so you brought me a list, and I talked about this last week with my guest Joe Dorville, but he was the only comic thus far to actually bring me a list of stories.
Wait, have you been asking us all for lists?
Yeah, I asked
Oh, well, fuck everyone but me and that guy.
Yeah. Well, and I told him, because everyone would say the same thing. They'd be like, yeah, I've got stories. Okay, cool. Like, just make me a list.
And it's just dead air while you're thinking of stories.
Well, and I explicitly...
Because I'm like, no, because I get anxiety about it because I know I'm terrible at it. Where I'm like, I even got stuff. Like, I'm sure I got stuff. I'm like, whatever thing it is, I got. He's like, you want some trauma? I got some stuff. Like, you want some jokes? I got some jokes. Whatever you want, man. I got. But then it's like...
You're like the guy for the bus driver.
But then somebody asks for it, and I'm like, oh man. Damn it. Well, my dad left. Did you not ask for trauma? God damn it. Nobody ever asks for that one. And for some reason, it's all I think about. No.
You're of two minds.
Yeah.
I'm just going to joke quote your jokes this whole time.
He's just going to reference my jokes and then him laugh and me go, and then
just out of context, step all over him.
Yeah, that's...
Oh man, but you did make a list, which I appreciate, but it wasn't a very extensive list.
Yeah, and they're a little all over. Like, some of them are literally just this thing happened, and then
you had hotel. You had hotel.
Oh, that was I got drunk at a Myth nightclub with a girl, and then
for those of you who don't know, Myth nightclub
is a nightclub,
and
that's basically
in Jacksonville.
Whatever you pictured when you heard nightclub in Jacksonville, it's that.
Yeah,
that's all of what it is.
Exactly
It used to be next to a meth lab that we did comedy in. And now it's next to a
bar we do comedy in.
No, we don't actually anymore. It's like a weird casino-y kind of bar.
You talking about Justice?
No. Justice is like down the street from it. It's like the one that's like right, like it shares a wall with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it used to be Hourglass Pub, which which we were like their best night of, like, we were bringing in more people, which is hilarious because we weren't bringing in a lot of people. They were just doing really bad.
Yeah.
And then we were somehow their best shitty night. And then they kicked us out because the owner wanted to do more clown burlesque shows, which is a real thing that existed. And then they kicked us out. And then after about a month after that, they shut down. And then they found out that it had been a meth lab the whole time.
Really?
And so we were just doing comedy in this. And it's funny because we were always like in the back room for After Dark, the variety show. We were like setting up sketches and shit and putting on stupid costumes. And then we're doing that stuff. And all the time we were like, why is that door locked? And then and then it turned out that there was a reason it was locked. And it was a meth lab.
So what's the so you're at Myth Nightclub?
We got drunk at Myth Nightclub, and then we were outside and we were smoking.
Who's we? You keep saying
it was just me and this girl that I met on Tinder, and then
it's always this girl you met on Tinder.
It usually is, yeah. And then she was like, "Do you want to go break into a abandoned hotel downtown?"
Oh, yeah, that's what you meant by hotel.
Yeah. And then we did, and then we hooked up on the roof, and it was weird.
Wait, what? There's an abandoned. Is it still there? How long ago?
I'm sure it's still there. It was like last year, I think.
Jesus,
it was a while ago.
Christ,
yeah,
man.
yeah. No, it's like a strange because it's like
So how did you break into the hotel?
There's like a fence that's broken, and then we just walked through it, and then.
But all the doors were unlocked. Like it wasn't like.
No, there was like a big hole in the wall. Then we walked into the big hole in the wall, and then we went up the spiraling staircase to the roof.
Now, again, I'm not trying to be mean, but you're not an overly like you're a tall guy, but you're kind of like. Were you nervous at all?
I mean,
you're a pretty big guy. Looking at you now in this room.
Well, no, I mean, I was like, it's like cops nervousness. It's weird because it's like I wasn't like, I wasn't like drug addict nervous.
Yeah.
Because you're just a dude walking in with a girl, and they're in the place to do drugs, So they're not like, it's not like a back alley where someone with money stumbles, where you would go to find someone with money to mug. So you're just like, oh, that guy's passed out on heroin. It's like the worst case. Like I saw a guy, like I remember I went to a show in Daytona once, and this is a part of the show where I do old bits that I don't think you've heard. I pulled up we pulled up to the show in Daytona, and I looked across, and like 2 spaces over, there's a guy tying off, and it was like the least nervous I've ever been.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like he's tying up, like he has the stuff, right? Yeah. Like nobody's like, oh, dress for the job you want, So it's like, I know he has it. He's not going to be like, hey, do you have any heroin or your wallet? Give it to me. Like, I know I'm fine.
No, he's already got everything he needs.
He's like a heroin addict that's about to do heroin that he already has. Like, that's the safest person on the planet to be around. There's no... So it's like, that's the same situation. Where it's like, what's the worst thing I'm going to run into in the place where you go to do... Like, am I going to run into another white trash couple having sex? Like, that's the worst case scenario. And even then, we're just like, well, we have next. And then it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's weird, just like it's like the back and forth of like any like fun weird hookup story where you're like, it's like we're looking out at the city and it's this weird,
So is it like right in the heart of downtown?
Yeah, it was like right downtown. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was. But it's one of them, and it's
but
like
you could like see like the
you can look out and there was like there's a cop down there and you're like, all right, we have to lean back a little, like, and it's like it's the weird like, no, it's cool because like we broke into this place and it's dangerous and then we could get like a STD from the ghost of a heroin addict and it's like not safe, and then at the same time you're like, there's like so many rats also fucking under us and it's gross, so it's like you're like, no, it's fun, and then it's gross, and I'm like self-aware to a fault, so I'm like, mostly it's gross.
Yeah.
And then
well, have you ever had those experiences? Because I don't know how much, because you and I have known each other for a few years now, and I'd say we're friends, but we're not like super duper close. So how much of what you say on stage about like going out and like meeting these girls and stuff like that is actually accurate?
I don't make up any of that,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I don't really think. Yeah, there's not really anything.
Do you find yourself in a situation? Because I noticed this, and I don't know if it's because I got older or what, but do you ever find yourself in a situation like that where you're like, oh, let's go hook up in the abandoned hotel, and like you said,
it's never my idea.
Okay, yeah. So
I've never been like a beach car, hotel, like whatever it is. Like it's never been me. That's like I'm always like, we could go back to where one of us owns a bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
okay,
and has air conditioning.
Because I'm exactly the same way. Where I remember when I was in high school and it was like prom or something, and like my girlfriend at the time was like, oh, let's go to the beach and like we can, and you get there and it's like, I don't go to the beach on like a beach day. Like, why do I want to go here in like a tuxedo, like, and get sand everywhere? Yeah. Like, this isn't fun.
It's worse with sex because you're not wearing anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's just sand, you know, and it's like, it's a bad idea. It doesn't work.
And like cars and like all those things where or like, you date someone or meet someone and they're like, oh, wouldn't it be so much fun to like hook up in the bathroom at this place? And it's like, no.
Like, I mean, I'm like, yeah. And then in it, I'm like, all right, well, this has some pretty extreme drawbacks. So it's like whatever thing it is, it's like it's fun once because you're like, it's a new one, and then you're like, oh, there's a reason that we usually do it.
Pretty extreme drawbacks.
Yeah, there's pretty serious reasons we mostly do it in one place, and it's not because it's more fun, it's because it just works, you know. And then it's like
it's more conducive to the environment.
Yeah. So anywhere else, you're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, all right, I get it. Like, I get why this isn't, like I bet people. I'm sure people fucked at some point on like a space station, like the space station. I'm sure it's happened. And I bet right in the middle, they were like, all right, yeah, nobody's got to do this again. You know, like we get why we mostly do that on Earth now.
Yeah. Oh man. What else? Abandoned hotel, man. That's crazy. What else is on your list?
It was
I was gonna look at it so I could segue to it, and then you took your phone and put it on your
no,
lap.
you can have it, man. You can, yeah, man. Read them like.
Yeah, these are just.
It's literally just like several word things that I was like trying to think of more stuff to talk about. Yeah. I mean, it's the same, but like.
So you did grow up in Middleburg. That's true. Which is
no, that's the good one. Save that one for last for sure. Like,
you saw where I was going with that?
That's just the one with the most stuff. So it's like, let's leave that one.
Okay. What about weed liquor?
Oh, that was my roommate at the time. Gave me a little packet of stuff that he's like, yeah, you just put this in a big glass of water and then you drink the glass of water, and then it gets you really high. It's like weed like it's like the weed stuff that they would put in a brownie.
Okay,
it's like they use it in powder, so you can So you put it in water and it's like, awesome, I'm gonna do that and I'll try it. And then I put it in a shot of whiskey and then I did that, and then I also kept drinking, and then did it work? Like. Yeah, that's weird because it's like it's not a fun drinking story because I just fell asleep on the floor.
Oh, did you on the floor?
Yeah, you know.
Where was this at? Was this at home? In the
it was just at the apartment I lived in. Yeah.
Okay. And so it was a weed powder.
Yeah.
That you then poured into a shot of.
So it's supposed to be like a whole glass of water that I put in like 2 ounces.
That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Yeah.
So I did a whole weed water at once and then also kept drinking. So that was basically like some guy was like, hey, this is a reasonable way to get really fucked up. And I was like, I bet I can do more with that. And that's the whole story on that one. I was literally like trying to think all day. All day I was like, that can't be all that one is. But that's all that one is. There's
that
nothing else to it. Yeah. That was near the time that I smoked weed out of the croissant. But
how did that happen?
I had a free croissant at work and I didn't have a bowl. And then I just took a screwdriver and I and did the holes in it and I made a pipe out of it and it worked.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was like a little one hitter.
There you go. Look at you and your ingenuity.
Yeah.
Oh man, so
I got fucked up in a lot of creative, trashy ways in that apartment.
There you go. But you are. I mean, we'll transition back to that story that you want to do last. But how long did you spend in Middleburg?
Probably moved out like 21. I was 20. I turned 21 in the first apartment I lived in.
But you grew up in Middleburg with your mom,
so
right?
I moved out when I was 20 late, like 20, almost 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because for those of you who are listening who don't know, Jacksonville's as far as like square miles is like the biggest city in the country.
Yeah.
But it's really weird because there's, like any big city, you know, there's parts where it's really nice and then there's parts where it's really shitty. But then Jacksonville has this weird dynamic where there are parts where it's like the boonies, like, and Middleburg is not technically in Jacksonville proper.
Yeah, it's like right outside of whatever. Okay. It's in like.
Because you don't strike me as like
Clay. It's in Clay County, I think. It's slightly like the next county down.
Because you don't strike me as like a country boy, but that's when people say Middleburg.
You know, it's in there. Yeah, it's weird because it's like that's the whole thing that I've always is like I grew up around rednecks, and to them I always seemed like a weird liberal hipster,
like a queer.
Yeah, exactly. And then I found the queer liberal hipsters, and then put an edit point on the part where we say the thing that's potentially a slur now. And I'm not sure where that one's. I know it's I know it's like a proper term if you use it on the one that it is, and I don't think we're using it correctly.
No.
So I'm sure. Yeah,
but Dallas came on here and started dropping F-bombs, which I know he's
Dallas does that
but
so much, and he wants us to. Like, it's like
he like was trying to.
It's like if you're joking around with him and you drop one on him, he laughs harder than anything else you would have said at that point. It's so annoying, and it's ruined me.
Then when he's not in the room and you do it, you're like, oh, this is just hateful.
Yeah. It's like having black friends for the first time all over again. But I didn't do that. I never said the N word in my life. And so
I'm just gonna let you dig yourself out of this one.
Yeah. So Middleburg, anywa's. So
never saying the N word.
They all yeah, that's something literally no one's ever said before. But they all thought I was like a liberally hipster, and I was like, okay, I guess I am. And then I went out and found the liberally hipsters, and they were like, what are you, some kind of like redneck? And so I'm like,
really?
Yeah. And it's like still like on first contact with like either group, it's like I just seem like whichever one they're not.
Yeah,
and it's like
that
that
makes
that
sense.
remains true no matter what. Where it's like, yeah, I skateboarded for like a couple of years, and it's like you show any skateboarder a picture of me and be like, is he one of you guys? And they'll be like, fuck no. Like, that preppy ass, they'll probably drop an F1 bomb on you for that. Like, you know, so like I don't seem like them. I don't seem like I listen to Death Grips now, but they would also probably drop an F-bomb on me. Like they're not them, like not the people in it, like the people, like the fans of it would be like, man, get him out. He's not hard like us. We listen to weird abstract drumming for an hour with a black guy yelling over it. And I bet he doesn't. And it's like, bitch, I do. But yeah. So, but I don't seem like it. Yeah.
Because how many, you're not an only child, right?
No.
Sister?
One of 3 brothers.
Oh,
and a half brother. Yeah.
4 of you.
3.5.
3.5. What do they say? Call a spade, whatever it is.
Yeah. Is that a slur? I feel like it sounds like it. Is it?
I don't want to say fun fact because it's not a fun fact, but an interesting fact. I worked with a girl, and she got a spade, like the ace of spades, like the symbol, tattooed on her wrist.
Well, that's just like that makes it playing card like, right?
Yeah.
Like that makes it, you know, it's like that's not.
But no, then she had said something like, you know, I was like, why did you get that? And she goes, oh, because I'm me. And, you know, you call a spade a spade. And I was like, wait a second. Because in my brain went to the same thing. I was like, that sounds.
It just sounds bad, you know?
Yeah,
like sometimes they just sound bad.
A slur of some sort. And I remember I got into this argument. Not argument, but I got into like this discussion with her. And I remember looking it up on my phone, and I think it was considered a slur like back in the 40s, and then like I don't know, but two white guys talking about this.
What's it? Wait, is it
white guys?
Is it like a black people slur?
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay, yeah, we got to look it up now that we're conjecturing. This much.
That we're going back and forth. But
I don't know.
The reason why I asked is because
it's like the 40s. That's like dealer's choice. That could mean anything. You know? It's like rampant popular stuff about everything.
Yeah, but I would assume growing up in Middleburg with 3 brothers, you would end up a lot more country than you have.
Yeah, I mean, we're all weird, and only like I feel like I'm the most self-aware about it, you know. Like they both don't realize that you're not supposed to like Scott Pilgrim versus the World that much. and I now I hope they don't listen to this. But no, I mean,
you're not supposed to Scott Pilgrim versus the World that much.
Yeah, I mean,
so I found it. Case in point, the expression "to call a spade for almost half a millennium" was a phrase that served as a demand to tell it like it is. It is only in the past century that the phrases began to acquire a negative racial overtone. And this is according to NPR. So yeah, I guess it used to be. To be clear, a spade in the Iramas translation has nothing to do with a deck of cards, rather a gardening tool. So in fact, the expression emerged later was to call a spade a bloody shovel. The early usage of the word spade did not refer to either race nor skin color. Oh, so originally it was not. So
but it's always like, well, originally, you know, like you know, there's
true.
like what's the one like I've heard people like try to like totally neutral vanilla people that I don't suspect of anything try to defend like Coon's age or something.
What?
Like, no, it's because they used to like think raccoons lived a really long time, and it's like I've looked it up, and that's correct, and that's also not what it means any fucking more.
Yeah, and you can't say it now.
Dude. That does not mean the same shit as it did. So it's like if it sounds bad, I'm gonna drop it. Like I'm just like, man, you know.
That's how I feel. I say it, and in my brain, I'm like,
it's like if you gotta do the math, then someone else also does, and they're like,
if you got to do the math, then you're
it's like I think about all of the consideration that I'm trying to give myself, and it's like, would I give that to just some other guy that looks like me? And almost always, no. You know, like, I would never. Yeah, if I saw me on this podcast, I would be like, I probably don't need to hear any more from that
guy. I'm gonna find the most Middleburg picture to post the clip.
Yep.
But we do live in Jacksonville now, which is a big everyone knows there's Mayport here. There's two naval bases or an Air Force base and a naval base. You have hooked up with someone on a naval base. Is that correct? Is that or is that
that
not
was like
correct?
no, it's very true, but that was such a weird like morning show like
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty good at this, man.
welcome to Dude Bro Radio. You hooked up with a bitch in the military, didn't you, Chet? Like
That's literally what you wrote on the thing. You
That's
said-
not. I wrote Jacksonville Naval Airspace with capitalized letters.
Oh no, it's because I said, "Oh, is this about like
Yeah,
the
that's-
bit that you have
Yeah.
where you talk about hooking up?" With
No,
a
that
girl?
was just a very funny way to go into it.
So this bitch.
Yeah. Look, man, you call a spade, and you tell it like it is, and
Stephen Baker, the callback,
and then
ladies
we
and
get
gentlemen.
angry emails. Nobody emails angry anymore. We're gonna get angry replies on the
DMs
app.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the weirdest thing is I've had people reach out about the show, and it's always like a comment or a DM, and I'm like, I've got like 4 different ways you can like just click on my just send me an email. Like,
Yeah.
why are
you would prefer the email?
I think it would justify the fact that I pay money to have this business email account.
You really do?
Yeah.
Why? What does it give you?
So, it basically when I started my website, because you know me, I'm an addict, so I was like, well, I'm gonna do the thing the right way. Like, I'm not gonna go. To this,
That's what addicts do. No,
I
I
meant,
know what you mean. Like
I
all
go
the way.
100%.
No,
Yeah,
no,
all the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Because you could get a free website. And
No,
then-
you went.
then
Yeah.
You tell people, and it's like, oh, www.wordpress.this.that, and I was like, no, fuck
No,
all
you went.
that.
You went full plunger on this podcast.
I was like-
nosedive. Yeah. I understand. I understand what you're saying now. Yes. So like you're going all in.
I do have a sister guy. We talked about my friend ODing from heroin.
Oh Jesus.
And then you went full plunger on this one.
I just want everyone to really clearly remember that it's Brennan's friend that OD'd, and he laughed way harder than me. I just smiled a little as I said it, and
Sorry, but yeah, I went full plunger, man.
oh man, what do you think the odds are so far that we got to just scrap this?
None. Oh, this is going up, man. But don't worry. Got tested. I'm negative. Okay. Got tested. I'm
Oh, on the
so
cough.
negative.
On the cough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It ended up running me. So basically, it's like a fucking like weird Ponzi scheme the way they get you. Even though it's not a Ponzi scheme at all. I'm using that totally the wrong way, but it sounds good. So you sign up for Squarespace, and they go, okay, do you want just a basic account or a business account or the? So I signed up for like the middle tier account, so I could do like. Later on in my career, I could do like merch and stuff like that, and there's no extra charge. So I signed up for that account. But then it was like, well, then you have to pay for the domain. So I'm like, okay, and don't worry, they've got a guy for that. They've got a service for that. So then you get the domain, and then it was like, oh, well, if you want to be real professional and you want to have like a contact email for this website, then you have to get the Google Gmail like suite, the business suite. So then I paid for that. And nobody.
Okay, so it was like, so you got the thing that they said you needed to connect to the thing to get the medium tier. Okay. I get it. Yeah.
So basically, I got the medium tier, and then they were like, "Oh, well,
And now you use this expensive email account to answer people emailing you about their complaints about the show.
No, nobody emails me.
Oh, okay.
Because people, if they want to complain, or
Oh,
even if
you
they
want
give
them
me
to.
praise,
Okay.
yeah. That's why you said,
Yeah,
you'd
yeah.
rather people email you, and I said, yeah, because
to,
I'm
like, get the
paying
money.
for this
Yeah,
email
yeah.
account. I'd rather check it.
Okay, I'll
and not
email
just
you
see-
something negative about the show.
Okay, so Brennan Tassif at BrennanTComedy.com.
Yeah.
Because now it's just I just get Google shit because it's a Google email. So now I just get Google shit, and it's like, well, why am I paying? Because it's not expensive. I mean, it's like $20 a year, but it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I paid for it. Now I just never.
It's
use
like,
it.
what does it do extra?
It's just so I can have the email account at Brennan Tassif at BrennanTComedy.com.
Oh, so it's just like a vanity plate for your email.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
That's actually exactly what it is. What I should have done is I should have done what most people do, which is contact at BrennanTComedy.com. Because I'm starting to realize that Brennan Tassif at BrennanTComedy.com is way too fucking long. And I wanted to be like professional. I wanted to have an email address at my website. And so you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. But it's not, I don't know how well it's working out because I started the website and I started doing the podcast and everything. And the podcast actually is going pretty well. Like we've got over 2,000 subscribers now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. We should stop talking about racial slurs. I was like, oh, like Trevor might listen to this.
Yeah.
No. Damn it.
Yeah, I checked I just checked my analytics the other day, and for last month we were around 1,900 subscribers, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's great.
Considering I just kind of started it and we're just kind of taking off. But what I really wanted to get to in the heart of all this, Stephen Baker,
is did you fuck that bitch on the...
What happened with the girl?
Oh, no, I wrote that down just because I was drunk, and then it was like it was another Tinder thing. She was only in town for like a week and a half with the army or whatever.
Navy?
The Navy.
Whichever one
it was, the boat one.
The boat one.
She was with the boat one, but she was at the boat Sky Station one, the Naval Air Base. And it was like
Sky Station.
Yeah, it was like she just snuck me on base to do stuff, and then we did. And it was
stuff.
Yeah, and it was cool, and I was pretty lit, and then and then I was like I was still taking the bus at the time, and I was like, I mean, I could go tomorrow, but I would have to wake up like crazy early, and like I catch an early bus, and she was like, all right, we should probably just go ahead and go now, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll go. And so I went out and I realized there wasn't a bus coming to that, like the terminal close to the base.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had to get to one further away, and I was like, all right, I can do a 3.
How do you figure all this out?
I was just on my phone.
Okay,
so I was like,
so
I could
there's an
do.
app?
Well, it's like they got the bus app, and then you got. So I was like, all right, I can do a $3 Uber to get to the closest one that will still have a bus coming.
Yeah.
So I was like, I did that. Like I ordered the Uber, and then my phone immediately died. So I was like, now I just have to catch this Uber when it shows up, or I will not, because it's just the side of the highway.
Yeah.
Where this base is. So I was like, I just have to get there now. So I was just running through I was just terrified that somebody was gonna stop me. Like I don't know what military bases are like. I don't know what I assume there's guards.
Yeah, I would
like
assume so.
that have like guns that are big. So I was like, I don't know what so like I got to look at like the ultimate authority figure that I hate politically, and them with a large gun, and they're just like, what are you doing sprinting towards the exit at 2 a.m.? And I'd just be like, I was fucking your coworker. Like that's all I have. Like I have nothing. Like what? This in my hand? That's a half full bottle of Jameson. I don't know. I don't really know what to. I clearly wasn't driving, so I don't think this is even in play. But like I don't know what to do. So I was just. Thankfully, nobody stopped me. There are very few guards on a naval air base. So if there's
in case you were wondering,
if there's any terrorists listening, yeah, I made it to the gate, and then I caught the Uber, and then the Uber let me charge my phone up in his car for the quick drive.
Did you give him a 5-star?
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I drove Lyft, so I always do, because you're supposed to keep like a 4.5 at least or something like that. So it's like I always gave 5 stars no matter what when I took one.
What possesses you to let your phone battery get that low?
It's just out all night. I didn't have a cord. I was like, I didn't have a car, so it took a bus to a place where we hung out all night, and then
it gives me so much anxiety when I.
And then I have the dumb like the USB-C one, which is the one no one has, So it's like there's just nobody
except that Uber driver.
Yeah, an Uber driver. Yeah, because he's just all set, and I was like, wow, you're better at me than this. And
so I want to get back. We kind of glossed over this, but. For people who are listening to this in their car, you should be thankful you're driving in your car, because the bus system and public transportation.
I was going to say, is this sponsored by Uber? How convenient.
No, I wish. Uber, shouts out. What's up? I don't care. I don't care what your political beliefs are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need some money so I can quit my other job and do the podcast full time. But it's weird because I know in Florida, it was the same thing in Oklahoma City when I lived there and in South Florida, but public transportation is like really shitty. Mm-hmm. And in Jacksonville, I remember when I got my second DUI and I was living up here, I got the JTL app, the app for the buses, but it was never right.
It was like it was only wrong every now and then, really late, it's kind of goes by the schedule, but it also kind of updates at least now. Okay, so it's like it was pretty consistent within like 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, because when I had it 2 years ago, that was the same thing. Is it would tell you what buses were scheduled to arrive.
It's got like a map now, and they're all kind of like set up on it, and they kind of ping.
Oh, you can follow them. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a like perfect like Uber or something, but it's
Yeah.
like they like ping every like 15 to 30 seconds, so you can kind of see them updating towards you.
Okay, yeah, because when
Yeah,
I mean, it was only 2 years ago, but when I was doing it, there was 1 or 2 buses that had the ping, but very rarely it would just say the next bus is scheduled to arrive.
No, yeah, they've definitely made it to the technology that we had in like most of the 90s.
Yeah.
They're all the way there.
They're all the way there now.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, what time is it? Okay. I just wanted to see how long you were gonna let this silence sit.
Indefinitely. Yeah.
That's
be
a good 5
just be
seconds on the.
Like, this is a weird way to do edit points.
There are no edit points in this show.
No, that's totally fine.
So that whole you saying the N-word and stuff, that's staying in.
Oh yeah, that thing that I did is. Don't use this as the clip because I didn't. I want everyone to know that I was jokingly. I was yes-anding, and I didn't. You can listen to the whole podcast. In fact, now you should listen to the whole podcast just to see if Brennan was lying. Listen to every second of this podcast more than once just to see if he's lying. You're welcome, Brennan's viewership.
Oh, that was the best. Oh. You yes-anded, and then you were like, oh, wait, he cut certain parts of this out.
Yeah. No, it's going to be the edit point.
There are no edit points.
Not the edit point, the clip. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to clip it 50-50. So, Middleburg.
Yeah. It's all rednecky and stuff.
But you had just wrote down.
It's all down. Isn't that down south, Old Town Road type of way?
You had put
southernly. It's like
Halloween.
Down there where grandma farts just as loud as them cattle. That's the old country saying. You know how they are down there.
I'm gonna let you go with this bit.
I'm done with it.
Okay. Halloween's in Middleburg.
Spooky.
Well, that's all you wrote was Halloween's in Middleburg.
No, it was there's like a party just a Halloween party that I went to with my older brother.
Set it up. How old are you?
I was probably like 18 the first time.
So you're still living at home?
Stop listening, Mom. And I was 18, and it was the first time I drank.
Ever?
Yeah. I was still living at home at that time. At pretty much most of them. I think I went to one after I'd moved out.
Are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the middle.
Middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you referenced that.
Yeah. I thought that was like for the viewers. We're like,
no, I remember.
Yeah, forgetting stuff. Yeah. So and it's like it was thrown by a friend of ours, and it like
So is this like an annual party every year in Middleburg?
Yeah. She throws. I'm not this year. Because she's a good person, but no, she's great, and it's like I started going to it when I was 18, so like my older brother and them were like 21 around then, so it was like they were just starting to throw like drinking parties and stuff, and it was cool and it was low key, and then she just started going further and further, like more all out, and just more people are there every time.
Yeah, and
it's just like Middleburg, and she's like all alternative and weird and great, so she's just gonna get some weirdos at that point. So it's just an annual reminder of all of the stuff that is in Middleburg if you're willing to find it, which is a lot. Definitely HPV. At least there's definitely some of that. So, and it's just everybody's getting plastered too, and it's just normal Middleburg shit, but like recontextualized to Halloween, which is bad. So like there's like a guy that's like just a bigger, like really awkward guy, and he's just kind of cagey, and you can tell that that's just what it is, and it's fine. That's just how he is. He goes to like social events, kind of hangs out on the perimeter, looking around. He's just kind of awkward. It's
does
fine.
More watching than talking.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean anything about who he is. Like it doesn't. He's not. Is whatever. But now he's holding a baseball bat and his face is painted like a clown, and that's bad. That's really bad.
That's super bad.
Yeah. So he's just standing around. He's just looking at people, but there's clown makeup, so he's glaring at people with a baseball. And it's his Halloween costume, we hope, and it's very concerning. And then there's like,
is this a bit that you've been working on?
no, it's just been in my head this whole, like, it's just stuff that happens like annually at least in Middleburg.
This is funny. You got to turn this into
yeah,
something.
man. And there's like
He's got clown makeup on, so he's glaring. He's
yeah,
glaring
yeah. There's like group costumes, and they all look like the rape gangs in A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
like they're like, it just looks like they're gonna rob a bank, but they were like they were out of ski masks, so we just got a bunch of Obamas, and now it's just a bunch of people in casual wearing Obama masks that showed up together, and it's like this is scary also, and it's not good. And then and it was like every year there's like a and then like every year there's like the same guy that was like a cop, and we knew because he told us, and he was like, I'm a cop, but it's cool because like I party. You guys want to see my gun? And that's bad.
Oh,
and
he's
like,
a real cop.
Yeah, he's like just a cop,
Like not a cop costume.
Yeah, not like a cop costume. He was not in costume, but he was like, yeah, let's look at my gun because that's my social thing now that I have one. And last time I went, he only had a taser, and I was like, "Oh Jesus, what did you do? Like, what happened? Like, dude, I think I went to a protest about you.
Yeah,
that's really bad." But, yeah, it's just stuff like that, and then it's weird because like it got big enough that people I knew were there, which is rare for me. You
so
know, like
how? When you say,
I mean, like middle, this was like.
Is it at her house? It's in the yard?
Yeah, it's like in the yard and like in her house. And,
okay,
but, like,
and now what are we talking like
it.
people-wise? Because you said it started small, but now what is like 200, 300,
It's
50?
probably 200, 100 to 200. Like she got a bartender, you know, like to set up a table and shit. Yeah, so it was like a legit thing, and then it's like there's just so many people that there's like.
Is she charging?
No, this is just her blowout. Like she just likes doing it and making it like weird and great. You know, so it's like she's cool. But it was like there was one year that it was like this is like the story one or whatever. But it was like I was the drunkest I'd been at it. And then I ran into people that I knew from working at a McDonald's in Middleburg years earlier, it's always like this weird high school reunion where it's like, how far did we all make it out of that?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's weird because Middleburg is just all like posturing. It's like any like rural or poor, like any word rural or poor or redneck or like any of the things that it is, it's like all just weird posturing and like just trying to conflate whatever you are into more.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's just weird. Like, well, I think I know music pretty good because I'm managing McDonald's, and it's like, oh really? Can I suck your dick? Like nobody gives a fuck, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. But it's like everybody does it, and I was like 19 and drunk as fuck, and like I got swept into it. So it's like they're talking about their shit that they have going on, and I'm like in my head like, oh my god, like I'm a 19-year-old that does stand up, and I'm getting drunk at a Halloween party. Like what am I doing with my life? Like I could be yelling at a step kid by now. But I have no one to go home to and yell at because I don't love them and I'm just fucking their parent. Like there's nothing. I don't have any of that. And they're like, dude, she's a year younger than me and she has a kid already. She's put together. And it's like, no, it's the opposite.
That's not, that's not how that works.
It's really fucked up. And I was like, so it's like I'm spiraling and going into existential crisis mode. And then my brother saw me and he was like, I don't know if he could tell something was off or if he was just like just trying to scoop me up. And he was like, yeah, let's go hang out inside for a minute. And I was like, lead the way. And then he started walking inside and I immediately turned around and went to my car.
Oh, really?
And it was like just fluid. Like he starts walking that way and it's like I just know he's not looking back at me, so I just immediately
abandoned him.
yeah, completely lied to him that I was gonna follow him, and then I put my keys under my tire and slept on the floor in the back seat.
Oh god.
Yeah, to not get the DUI. Yeah,
the DUI.
Yeah, and that's that story. You know,
you cannot be in operational control of your vehicle.
Yeah, and it's all weird vague. What
were you?
Age-wise, 19?
No. What were you for Halloween? It's a Halloween party.
I think that was the year that I didn't have anything, but I did have a hoodie in my car, so I just said I was Eminem.
I mean, that tracks.
Yeah, that was it.
You can get away with that.
Yeah. This year I tried to just do the Kurt Cobain thing. Where it's like there's just people that I look enough like that I can dress how I do and just be like, no, I'm that guy.
Well, that's what I do with the cop thing.
Yeah.
I literally put on my leather jacket and then put on the fake badge. And
it's very opportunistic, yes.
I mean, people already tell me I look like a cop. So it's like, I just do it that way.
Yeah, it's just how long my hair is, basically.
Yeah. Your hair's getting long. Are you going to cut it?
Yeah, I got it soon. I got an
interview?
Friday.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
For those of you listening, I talked to my old bosses, and Stephen Baker is now gainfully employed again.
I mean, it's like there won't even be. It's like I get to quit this job still, which is great.
Are you gonna quit? How are you gonna quit?
I mean, I don't really want to burn the bridge, so like I don't want to quit too sharply. But they were even like, you can like, you know, like you need to go get another job, so whatever you got to do. So I could probably be.
Oh,
like,
because I know you told me that they were like cutting back hours and stuff. They
Yeah,
straight said get another job.
I may lie to both and be like, hey, I need to give them like 2 weeks, and then also tell
Just
them
take 2
that
weeks
I have
off?
to, tell them that I have to stop working right now to go to this other job. If I can afford it, yeah.
Oh, well, this is kind of awkward because some of those people listen to the podcast.
Oh shit. Well, I won't do that now.
I'm just kidding. Nobody from work. It's weird for the subscribers that we do have, which I'm sure the number is skewed, and I'm sure someone will message me like, those are just the pings. Those aren't the actual downloads.
Yeah, man.
Hey, nerd, why don't you get on Tinder and take some of Stephen Baker's advice and find a girl that's horny and shut the fuck up.
Hey, I also yell at Brennan. You do what you want to. Live your life.
Live your life.
Whatever makes you less depressed.
No. If it's coming after me, get more depressed. Fucking assholes. Just kidding. I love all of you who listen. You are my favorite people in the whole wide world. Stephen Baker, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
hope you develop like a cult following of people. Like I hope you have like a weird, like, who's that rapper guy that everyone just hates him? Like the white boy, the guy that made that song Tom McDonald. I hope you have just a group of fans that just hate you, and you have to keep being like, I love you all that listen to me for listening to me and taking time out of your day, even though I secretly hate all of you.
Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
No.
That would be a very funny road to go down.
I love all my listeners. But we need you guys to start coming out to some shows. So don't forget December 12th, Stephen Baker.
Come put your life on the line, your grandparents' lives on the line, your kids' lives on the line.
Nobody who
got to
listens to
do
this
it right
goes
now.
to see their grandparents.
That's fair enough.
Go ahead, plug everything one more time.
Oh yeah, Instagram is problematic.
Wait, what's happening? You're pulling your phone out to plug. You don't know your stuff
I just
offhand?
gotta bring up the date of that show.
It's December 12th.
I guess I didn't have to bring up the date of that show.
Ace Arena in
Ace
Jacksonville,
Arena,
Mandarin right
December
outside
12th.
of Jacksonville, December 12th, 8 o'clock. Get your tickets now. It's a socially distanced show.
Off-brand sparkling wine, Poppy on Instagram, Mitski Hustle on Twitter. My name on Facebook. You can add me there. I don't care.
Do you do the meme thing? Do you still do the meme thing?
Yeah, I mean, I make memes when I have ideas for them, you know. It's like it's not enough of a thing to call it a thing yet, you know? Like I don't got a page for it or anything.
Well, you got to get that page, man.
Yeah, I should get that page. I got to get the page. I got to get the website. I got to get the
gotta
business email.
Yeah,
I
you
got to
get the email. Fucking worst decision I ever made.
I should just get Photoshop instead, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. Here, so while I've got you here, I want to bring this up because you and I have talked about this with the. Everyone's like, I thought this fucking show was over.
No, it's, like honestly, I think it would be funny if like every episode from now on just ends with you cutting it at. You know, it's funny that you bring that up. I wanted to talk to you about it, and then it just cuts right there.
Yeah.
That's like the new.
It's like, no, it's an hour long.
Yeah,
no
like
matter
you
what.
get the plug, and then you bring a new thing up, and then cut it.
And
there.
then just end it. But because you and I had this conversation I guess it was like a year ago, but about the meme thing. Because I was like, I'm always thinking of like really funny things. I think I can make them into memes.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's weird because it's just like, do I have the effort to put into this, to put this image on this image? And it's like, that's really like the equilibrium you got to hit is to where it's like, it's easy enough. You just got to make it as easy for yourself as you can to just put the words on the thing. And then that's it. You know?
Yeah. Well, because so I was doing clips, like I was doing stand-up clips.
Yeah.
And I finally just started doing them on the phone because it was easier. But because I have an iPhone and then I use a PC computer, it was the same kind of thing as like with the memes that we talked about. Because you were like,
you have to like transfer it over.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And I remember when we were talking about the meme thing, you're like, oh, well, if you download, this is the app that I use. And then you have to find that picture. And then you have to find the other pictures. And then you have to put them together. Then you have to put the words. And I was like, damn, that seems like a shitload of work for something so stupid. But then it was
thank you.
It was the same thing with cutting clips.
Yeah, it's just like you just got to try and get fluid with like making it easy for yourself, and then you just do more of the ideas, you know.
Yeah, because I
I mean, it's like you say that about like doing some stuff on your phone, and then you drive all the way to Daytona and back, and don't do the 5 minutes of comedy that you want to. So it's
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
No, it's just you got to try and
It's like, what are you spending
yeah, you're
your
like
time
it's
doing?
all like you're just trying to play yourself into doing the stuff that you want to. You know?
Well, and it's also shitty too because some of the apps to do some of that stuff, be it memes or like editing software and stuff, like they're not expensive, but they're not cheap. And I know when I was working both jobs before I quit the day job, I was like on this spree of like, oh, I'll just buy all these programs. Now my computer is like rot with all these programs that I don't use, that I don't know how to fucking use. I can't get the fucking clips from my phone onto my computer.
Yeah, to even
I hate comedy. I hate it so much. I fucking hate this job. Anyway,
that's a good place, Annie.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the podcast. Again, that's Stephen Baker at. You heard it 7 times.
Off-brand sparkling wine, Pappy.
There you go. Off-brand sparkling wine, Pappy.
That's right.
After his hero Drake.
His hero who has done no wrong, Drake.
God, that's so depressing. All right, thank you everybody so much for listening. Again, Brennan T Comedy on all social media. BrennanTComedy.com. This is Brennan Tassif, is your ex-drinking buddy. We'll catch you all next week.